cute and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7.
Hey. Penguin God. Humana goes for first, but gets second. Nice, nice. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any ideas for good Valentine's Day games to play on Wednesday. I think last time I played the pigeon dating sim. It was okay. I'll say that. It was okay. I had high expectations for that game, but I'll say it's just okay. Stardew Valley? I could do that. Hey, quick slow. Hello, the herbivorous. We're doing your game first, of course. Wow, no, that's a Kindle mirror. The anarchy will be high. Looks like I have to make it a tiny bit smaller. Well, that's okay. I'll leave it like that. Bum 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 bum. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Stardew Valley's that's a good choice. Although, how far can I even get in Stardew Valley in 2 hours? Is there even enough time to, like, see a relationship? Isn't it, like, a long game? As far as you want. Hey, Habits. The map that was using DC-12. Yeah. I don't know if I've covered this map before. I'm not sure. Wow, look. Oh my gosh. This neutral property comes online so late. Interesting. So the lone base is active immediately, but the dual base side is super slow. Let's see here. 1, 2. All right, you're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can a recon deny this base? A recon must be able to deny that base, right? I I played Slay the Princess for Halloween. It is a very good game. You have to base skip day 1. That's probably worth it. Because you're also delaying a lot of property captures. You got a question about black boots? What's your question about black boots? I didn't know that Shoals cost 2 movement for black boats. That's rough. Should you build an APC to save it? That depends on how important the black boat is. Decide not to go for it. Yeah, I thought that reefs cost 2, not shoals. Ah. Well, if it's very important, then you should save it. Yeah, I think I would go with a recon first, or a recon interrupt. It looks like it's easy. It might be easier as player 2, maybe. Maybe not. Someone in that style is needy streamer overload. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's the name of the game. I see. Okay. I'll hop into this. We can find more Valentine's Day game ideas as we go about the stream. But we have the herbivorous. I'll make the cobalt ice. Here's P. Kent. And a Kindle mirror. I do really like Faster Than Light. That's a good game. Okay. Let's see if anyone goes for recons. Looks like herbivorous is not going to go for a recon. P. Kent also didn't base skip, so... No recon shenanigans. Guys are... They're too chill. Just gonna let each other get their secondary bases. We have a recon now. It's an interesting recon. I'm not sure what it can attack that can't be just defended with the tanks. Usually recons are good really early on and good again later on, but in the mid game they tend to be a little on the weaker side. Just because tanks can easily match them in tempo. And then start zoning them and stuff. So we'll see what this recon gets done. It does force a tank in the center, I guess. But this base doesn't really care that it's not building infantry because it's already got... Well, maybe this city gets delayed because of it. Wow, okay. Well, that's gonna... The recon's gonna die for that. It's gonna slow down the comm tower capture by 1 turn, which I don't think matters. It does also delay this capture and this capture, so it's not the worst. Except I don't think this capture would ever happen anyway, because this base can just stop it. That's expensive. Oh, the recon lived? Okay, well, if the recon lives, that's a lot better. They can run back to the safety of tanks. maybe get repaired. You don't go down in unit count. That's a very aggressive capture by the Herbivorous. The artillery, that's going to be a hard one to hold because this base is so much closer. But if you're able to hold it, then that could be the kind of thing that could decide a game in the long run. So we're gonna run back with the recons. It's guarded by a tank. This is the kind of fight you don't really want to get involved in by Kent. Luckily, this tank wouldn't be able to hit from the harbor, but even so, you attack the recon, the tank hits you, and then suddenly you're fighting within base range, which is always nasty. I'm amazed that recon lived. Usually, recon gets knocked down to 9. It's on a road. Tanks pretty much always kill them, but not this time. It was a very healthy 9. Okay, we do have the airports getting captured here. I don't think these were easy to deny, although it would be nice for them to do so. Wow, that's an aggressive play. It does have a little bit of backup. And it does potentially delay this capture for a long time. So we'll see how it goes. But that tank kind of dies for almost free. I mean, it lives. It did have a tiny bit of chip on it, but just a tiny bit. We have a Neo tank backing this up. Does delay. Oh, no, never mind. It dies. Does delay this capture, but you have to now you have to have delayed that capture by like 5 turns overall to pay for the fact that you're net -7 in tank health. They're in exchanges there. Plus you're down an entire unit, which sucks. But if this gets delayed by like 5+ turns, then value-wise, it will be fine. So we'll see. This is going to be the hot button city. And so far, the Herbivorous has been doing a better job at capturing these more contested cities. Although this one isn't really captured by either right now. Although they both have a Neo tank here. Moving into the center. We have them being captured. It unfortunately doesn't actually interrupt for this. So Kent will get this corner city. There wasn't an anti-air built, so the copter does successfully deny this. Currently, Kent has a decent little setup here. The one base has been so... They've both been so zoned out of actually capturing the cities that their properties are very close to. Ooh. Kent forgoes this capture, starts going for the harbor, and also dives in here into base range. Has this Neo tank on the way. I mean, this looks really a little bit gnarly for Kent. Like, because this Neo tank can kind of come up and flank. Maybe it can't do it too safely with the copter here. We'll see how it goes. Ooh, such an aggressive tank placement. It is guarded by the other Neo tanks, so that's probably fine. And it's a Neo tank chain here. No anti-air built. Okay, we're gonna kill this tank, and then the recon comes in, beep beep, interrupts and survives. Artillery doesn't quite guard this tank, but it is on a property, which is nice. So at least they'll have a good retaliatory strike. Interesting. So the Herbivorous goes for the tank kill. This does invite a Neotank first strike against him, or against them while they're in the forest, which will still be painful, especially because P. Kent will probably be able to get an Urban Blight along with this. So it'll be like a extra firepower first strike. I mean, the Urban Blight looks so good for P. Kent. It at least interrupts 2 captures. It hits a tank. It hits 2 copters down here. It's another tank. It helps with this attack. I think the Urban Blight's basically forced for P. Kent. Interesting. I might have gone the Urban Blight first. No, this is fine. You go to the 8-5 trade, which is nice. And you just take the extra charge. Pop, 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 pop. What did that do? That did 20,000 damage. That's pretty good. A decent trade of health on the tank for Neotank there. No complaints. I don't know what this tank is. I guess it's moving down here to stop this tank from getting hit on the artillery. It's probably better to just go hit something. You don't really care if this tank's hit the artillery. It'll just get gobbled up by like the copter and everything else. We'll see. Okay, well, that was a very painful Urban Blight. You forgot that it was a Kindle mirror up until that point. Short but fun. That's true. Wear bombers? Yeah. Bombers for the Neotanks makes sense. Ooh, we're going to attack in here. What was that? Very weird to attack and then hit Urban Blight. I guess it was just to get a tiny bit more charge. Maybe that attack didn't need the Urban Blight. Or the power. I'd want the power just for the defense when they're attacking an infantry. Okay. Tank comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't attack the anti-air. Pretty interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess the anti-air can't reach the copter right now, so that's okay. Yeah, the artillery gets hit. I think it would have been worth it to just have this tank go kill another tank, rather than body blocking here. Neotank runs away, as is wise. P. Kent had an amazing exchange army value, but the Herbivorous does still have a little bit of an income lead. Oof, this base is looking a little bit dicey now that the copters are moving in. With some Neotank backup. Ooh, yeah, that's a pretty nice little play. The idea is the Neotank can kill either of these units, but to do so, it can't move off of the base, which means that no anti-airs can get built, and then the copters can come in and just end up surrounding and slowly killing off this Neotank. Now, the Herbivorous does have a missile play that can be used, though. If that does happen, a missile could get built here to try and defend this base, provided there's an anti-air around here to defend the missile. That would be cute. We have a mega tank. Yeah, so Neotank kills the tank. use the artillery. Busts in through here. Just don't attack, yeah. Get an urban blight. Does slow down these captures. That's a little bit of... I mean, it slows down these captures, but that's really not worth it. I mean, it's going to cost a, like, repair value on this mega tank, I guess. I think you'd rather have that charge for when you're trying to kill this base off or some other fight. You have arrived for the duckening. Whack. Mega steps off, kills a tank. Now the problem with having the mega step off, it's always a tough thing about the mega defense of a base. You want the mega to step off so it can like go and kill things that you want to kill, but suddenly you now have a dangerous situation for your base again. There's an artillery staring at it. There's copters and tanks around. So if you just build a tank or something, it just gets killed off and then something stands on your base. And then your mega will only have 2 more turns where it can actually attack to try and free your base. So you almost force yourself into just having to build another mega or some other very expensive unit. Or your base is possibly going to fall. We do have the bomber on the way this time. Okay, Neo Tank probably going to die here. It does die. And this tank can stand on it, so this base is gonzo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, the Urban Warriors can build a pipe runner or a rocket to try and defend it, I guess. But that base is super dead. This base is kind of super dead. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. Now, the problem here is you've got... This is like a lot of money to dump in. Which could be bad elsewhere, except, I mean, it's kind of fine for Kent because this base has been taken out. It's like, where else are you really going to be investing your money successfully? Clearly, the Urban Warriors at this point is just going to be chaining bombers. Yep, here they come. And I do like the mechs because what Pekin's going to have to do is find blockers that can just stand in the way of all the bombers. Try and save the base. And mechs will get here pretty quick. Okay. We should get another mega. Or we're going to try and get an anti-air. Neo, okay. You have an Urban Blight. I would definitely have... I think I would have saved the Urban Blight to try and slow down the captures on the base, but maybe it doesn't really matter. It's just better to get these kills. Yeah. Now the megas are in a lot of trouble. They're going to cut off by just infantry standing in the way, and there's going to be bombers swarming them. The base still fell because something weaker than the mega got built on it. Such is the life. We have an Urban Blight for Pecan. Now going to attack into the center here. Some decent strikes. Get the strike from the city with Urban Blight, which is nice. I'm not sure why the anti-airs are running. Oh, okay, never mind. They're running over here because Peakent's worried about the bomber killing off this base and having a copter stand on it. Now have a bomber for Peakent. Maybe a fighter would have been better because I don't really see amazing targets for the bombers at this point. Oof. Kindle bomber strike from a city. This is where, like, I've said it before, but like bombers are only kind of counters to megas, and the fact that megas only because megas can't hit them back. When a bomber from a city only knocks from Kindle only knocks a mega down to 5 while it's on a road, they're durable little buggers. Okay. Now that Herbivorious is getting some megas. These megas are going to be a little bit scarier because they actually have Neotanks to attack. We'll see if Peakent is able to save this base. That would be amazing. Mega gets trapped in here. The bombers are coming to kill it off, much like what happened down here. Okay, the Herbivore still has and has had an income lead this whole time, which is nice. Especially when you're having to build so many expensive units. Joined together. Go for slightly faster capture. And looks like the Herbivorious is not going to have the Urban Blight ready to interrupt these captures, which is kind of why you want to use it. You want to save it. Where it's a little more important, but that's okay. Maybe it wouldn't even be worth it. You just delay these for just one turn. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that Urban Blight was needed. I think this Mega is going to die next turn regardless. And I think delays over here could definitely be better. Ooh, we are going to go with the Rocket Buy. Well guarded by a bunch of anti-airs. We have a fighter. Are we going to rebuild the Mega? We've rebuilt the Mega. Delete into make Mega again. Okay, this Neo tank is not super well guarded, so I assume it's going to die. But we'll see, we'll see. I mean, there's some bombers coming. Okay, that makes it much more. It's now, I take it back. It's now very well guarded. Did this get deleted? Herbivorious deleted that infantry, huh? Probably should have just attacked for the chance to do chip damage, since both powers were active. It's not like Peakent was going to get any charge from that. Okay, attack down here. Looks like the delete Mega, rebuild Mega is so far working. Although now we're gonna have rockets getting built to lock down that poor base. The delete inventory just went to vacation. Megas are very durable. Great, it's kind of trapped there, I think. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it's not trapped. Assuming this 4 health Neotank can make it here. It can then kill this 2 health infantry. Then the Mega can be free! But then you'll just have to build another Mega. That's the only thing that's going to be withstand all the stuff targeting the base. Hello, says the fighter. Gobble, gobble. It was almost freed. But yeah, I don't think it matters if it gets freed or not, because you just have to replace it with another mega. So I think this is pretty much ideal for the Herbivorous. Managed to salvage this situation. Comes the bomber. This rocket has to be very careful, because it's if it gets too close, the bombers can just bop it, and if everything else over here gets taken out, then the Herbivorous can just build a missile to defend the bombers from the fighter. That doesn't really matter, because there's enough stuff here that they can just save the base. Okay. I mean, the anti-airs got taken out, and that's a bit of a big deal, but the fighter's still here to take out bombers for now. For now. We do have backup fighters, which is nice, but you'd also like to have some backup anti-airs for sure. The fighter can get over here. Base does get captured. We'll see if the Herbivorous is going to engage in any of those rocket shenanigans to try and lock down this base. I'm just going to build an anti-air, okay? And a bomber. Okay, rocket kills the Neo tank. Fighter goes after the bomber. That's probably a mistake. Urban Blight. Well, maybe it is better to kill the bomber than rather to fight fighter to fighter. These Neotanks are getting gobbled up. They're actually even on income right now. Okay, the Herbivorous goes straight for the Urban Blight. Delays one capture. It might have been better to look at the high society there. I'm not sure. Yeah, down goes... Oh, the rocket actually lived at 2. Down goes that fighter. There is another fighter. This fighter can go after this bomber. I see. It's a lot of anti-airs. Okay, we get a Neo tank here. Yeah, I don't know if Urban Blight really did much there, but at least there's going to be plenty of charge left for the Herbivorous. At this point, it's looking like... I like the artillery buy. It's a much cheaper investment than the rocket. It's almost looking like P-Kent's going super all-in and trying to kill this base, which can be dangerous if things don't go your way. Here comes the fighter. It's almost like it turned into a high funds game. Or is this a high funds game? This is a high funds game, never mind. I didn't even notice. Bomber hits the Neo tank. So many anti-airs to fight. We're just chaining anti-airs as we run up here. It's working out pretty decently so far. I'll be interested to see what P-Kent does to save this base from just getting taken out by artillery. Because the Herbivorous has an entire army up here fighting to save this base. But P-Kent is also up here fighting to try and take this base, so it'll be really embarrassing if this one just kind of dies. I am too distracted by the brawling. Okay, we have Urban Blight. Pop. Gets the city. Now P-Kent does have an income lead. Anti-air goes down. Fighter stands on the city. Ooh, that's kind of annoying. Because this anti-air can probably die. And now there's nothing that can get this fighter off of the base. That is mighty annoying. Start marching some more mechs over to it. Fighters just being good again. Urban Blight does knock it down to 1. There's just no anti-air or fighter in range to take it out. I don't know why the medium tank got by here, but it's something that can be shelled. Bomber doesn't reach over here, so the ground forces are kind of looking fine for the Herbivorous. Builds a bomber. I thought for sure you'd have to start building fighters here. You need to get over here so fast. You want to save this base. Ooh, look at that. It's the cheeky fighter wall. Can't break through it. Okay, we got a mega built down here. I guess we'll just shell the mega a little bit. Yeah. You build a rocket to join the artillery. Yep. There's the fighter. The fighter wall proved to be a killing blow on that base for P. Kent. Going to the mega spam again. These properties getting captured. This is looking very good for P. Kent right now. Just a tiny bit behind in army value. But that base is captured. Ooh, this base just got stood upon. You can't ignore that too much from P. Kent's perspective. Also has a lot of indirects staring at it, so I don't know what it could possibly build to be happy. Ooh, we do get a fighter strike from a city though. Oh, that could have gone bad. What do we even build here? Just another mega? Luckily for P. Kent, this was a bomber, not a fighter. Otherwise, this could have been pretty nasty to attack into, because there's still the anti-airs. We do indeed just build another mega. Gets shelled a bunch. Bomber strikes it. Mech strike. Pipe Rider into resign. GG. Wow, that was very back and forth. I think the Herbivorous could have pulled it out if or pulled it off if there's a little more preparation for the fighters. I think the fighter plays by P. Kent was just completely backbreaking. Well played, well played. And yet again, fighters prove why they're one of the best units. By just existing. We got rickitinteam versus CatWithYarn. The game is Why Not? 1 versus 1 Verdun. That was your first and last. That was a live league game? Dang. That is an intense live league game. You have to go now. Yeah, I don't think Live League is a place to warm up. I think Global League is a place to warm up. Howdy, friends. Okay. We've got CatWithYarn, otherwise known as Shadow, who says they have to go. Against rickitinteam, Olaf versus Max on Verdun. I think both Olaf and Max can get stuff done on this map. I wouldn't feel too bad playing as either one. There is a lot of opportunities for tanks to kind of push up into an area and win some immediate cities, but at the same time there's easy ways to kind of get artillery in nice forests and try and stall the game out a little bit, especially if you can get locks on the comm towers. Looks like we're gonna go for a transport copter opener from Olaf, followed by a mech. Interesting. So I'm not against a transport copter opener on this map. It can be dangerous. Well, usually I wouldn't do that with it. Oh my, it's a lot of mechs. I would have usually gone straight down and try to get some of these captures really quickly before recons may or may not show up. Have some backup for it. But we'll see how this all pays off with all of the mechs. You tend to need more than just one T-copter for mech spam, but look at all the value boosts you can do. You got one boost here, and then you can move this guy and get another boost and then transport again. All of the extra mech movement. Are we gonna boost him? Yeah. Look at the extra mech movement. Oh, look at that. Drop him off over there, guarding these infantry, set up to pick up another mech. It's just beautiful. It's a little slow, but it's still beautiful. It's important to have a lot of mechs against Max, otherwise the recons can just kind of hit your mechs and you lose. This is very good information for CatWithYarn, because the only way a mech is on this city is if it got transported there, or if it was like built really, really early. So CatWithYarn could do some deduction here and deduce that either an APC or a transport copter got built. Hello, Mad Caterpillar. Welcome, welcome. Playing in the competitive scene is definitely a tad bit different than playing the original games, one could say. But I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Okay, artillery recon. Ooh, are we going for a no tank challenge from Olaf? Recon gets some more harassment. I think that this mech was revealed to have walked into this forest, so CatWithYarn might not have been watching the replay there, or just doesn't care. It's like, whatever, just hit me with the mech, I'll interrupt your city. Anyway. Sticking to mainly tanks. Tank copter so far for CatWithYarn and the composition, which I can respect. It's a tried and true strategy for sure. The mech does get the kill with a little bit of help from an infantry friend. More boosts. Boosts guarded by an artillery. Now, Olaf should definitely get an anti-air soon. Because while this composition's pretty nice against low numbers of land vehicles like recons and tanks, it's going to be really sad if copters start running in. We do have a copter on the way. This recon comes in, bops this mech all the way down to 1. It's going to be fine with it too, because it can't quite reach. We might have a surround happen, which will make CatWithYarn pretty sad, depending on where this infantry goes. Yeah, it will just make CatWithYarn really sad. So an infantry can go here, and then you just have the T-copter go here, drop a mech off here, have this infantry go for the comm tower capture, and then this recon is just really, it's blocked by 1 health mech, a 4 health infantry capturing the city, and then a T-copter and an infantry. Doomed to be picked off on the next turn. Very aggressive by Olaf, but it's probably worth it to lose this infantry. Wow. Gonna go for the recon first strike, huh? Well, I don't like this nearly as much because now this is very easy for Max to pick off, but also this recon can now just run away. You don't want recons to just be able to run away. Oh, I'm glad you appreciate it, Mad Caterpillar. When you get a game done, you can always submit it, and I'll cover it. One day, Mad Caterpillar will turn into a happy butterfly. We have gone 0 days without recon violence. This is very small nitpick. You want the tank to hit from this side or this side? Probably this side. The only reason you want to do that is so this infantry can use the available tile to finish off this guy. Okay. You might be a little bit too gung-ho with some of these recons. Whee! This should be definitely known as dangerous territory. It's next to the... It almost gets away with it because it's within the minimum range of this artillery. But yeah, there's other mechs about here. Yeah, just sticking... I do favor this composition that CatWithYarn's going with. Just like tank, copter, recon. It's pretty decent. You could probably go a little bit lighter on the recons and just keep them alive. But it can be nice for Max to be like, I'm just not going to build anti-air. I'm just going to use my stronger copters to beat up their copters. And that way I get more tanks. And if they build anti-airs, then my tanks can beat up their anti-airs and that kind of thing. Maybe a sensible moth. Whoa. Of course, this is just a bunch of mechs. Usually the way that Max is going to deal with a bunch of mechs is get a bunch of vehicles, pop a power, and just one-shot all of them. Or first strike them at least. It's true. There are now tanks for Olaf. The no-tank challenge has been failed. CatWithYarn doing very nice when it comes to economic differences, as you would probably expect. When someone's going with just like a very slow mech push across the map. So at this point, it kind of comes down to CatWithYarn not throwing away too many units, charging into the giant glob of artillery and mechs. Just kind of playing patient, let the vehicles build up and then go in a big blast. As is, this is going to start being very painful. There'll be very cost-effective trades if the mechs get to strike at the vehicles, especially with artillery fire. Backing them up. Okay. That was a very painful turn, but you can't be too upset as CatWithYarn because you're ahead by 6k in income. So now is the time to only go after units that are on the outskirts. And just let your forces build up. Probably don't want to send your tank in. It doesn't have any copters or any support against copters. But that's okay. Now Olaf is down by a lot of income, but is ahead in unit count and fighting just fine when it comes to unit value. So it's not so bad for Olaf, especially once the super comes around. It can do a lot of damage. This is much more the kind of fighting that CatWithYarn would like to be doing. Stuff just on the outskirts so you don't walk into indirects and the like. Okay, lots of copters. Doing good. It's going to be very weird if Olaf gets the super before Max gets a power off. Don't think that's quite going to happen here. It's very nice that this recon survived. 1 health recons give just as much vision as a 10 health recon after all. But they can feel more expendable to just kind of like throw into the middle of the enemy's army to see where everything is. I didn't know that there was a triple base skip. Did not notice that. Okay, here's the max blast. This should be really good. Or I guess it could probably be a little bit better. Some of these vehicles are not really in range of stuff, but we'll see. Zoom, says the copter. This tank doesn't have a great target. Did get to kill the artillery, which is nice. The mechs are still going strong. Okay, we get to take one of the mechs out. That's nice. And then I would like on this turn for CatWithYarn to put the tanks on properties so that they will heal up when you get hit with the Olaf super. This is one of those, like, it's kind of considered like a big brain move where you build nothing but infantry so that you don't have your vehicles hit by the 2 damage. But the problem is it costs you so much tempo to build no vehicles on your turn that it greatly outweighs the benefit of paying slightly more repair costs. So I would usually recommend just building vehicles as you would normally. Maybe not go for... Maybe don't save up for the turn or something, but definitely I would recommend still building vehicles rather than going straight for infantry. But now we do have 42k in the bank. And as you can see, this is kind of why I'd like to have the tanks that were en route to be on properties already, so they would be at full health. Otherwise, they have to spend a turn now repairing. Which is, again, just kind of a tempo loss. Very painful. Yeah, we got Neo Tank now. The Neo Tank will be pretty nasty for Olaf to deal with. I'd probably recommend just going with like double medium tank instead, because I think for Max in particular, a Neo Tank is often going to be very overkill. He can give the medium tanks extra movement all on his own, and the extra plus 20% firepower means that they're also going to have a pretty easy time just kind of killing off tanks, which is the main thing you really like having the Neo Tank for. That and the extra movement the Neo Tank has, of course. Okay. Still maintaining a nice 6k advantage. This looks very difficult for Olaf to come back from. The mech artillery blob has kind of been broken up at this point. They're still getting some pretty decent value, but they're no longer in combination with the artillery, so making themselves almost unassailable by a moderate number of vehicles. And they're having to try and move out to greener pastures in order to get properties here. Which is when they are most vulnerable in transit. I do like CatWithYarn just constantly building copters. That is the way to do it. the this is a classic way to win via composition, especially when you're ahead in money. You're going tanks and copters, and then your opponent is forced into having to build tanks and anti-airs. Because they're not going to be able to match you tank to copter when they're down in income. And tank copter kind of dominates anti-air tank. For one, you're getting more units usually because you get to use the airport. And also, copters can kind of completely wall out tanks easily, and tanks can kind of completely kill anti-airs. The one upside, of course, is anti-airs will one-shot copters, but they don't fly, so they have a harder time dealing with the maneuverability aspect of these kind of fights. The snow will help, though. Ooh, we're going for the max blast. This is a little bit of a weird max blast because there's very little vision of the opponent, but the recon's going to find some targets. Nice. Save the property. So here, this is kind of a situation. Oh, actually, the Santerra does actually reach the copters. But I was going to say, this can't be the situation where you feel like the copters are pretty safe because they're out of range of the anti-airs. But as soon as it snows, your copters can only move 3 tiles, so sometimes they just get caught anyway. At what funds would copters be unbuildable? There wouldn't be a time. Well, I mean, of course, if you're making less than 9,000, they could be pretty tough to build. But oftentimes, what you'll see people do, I do prefer going triple recon over triple infantry builds, I guess, is you can cut a vehicle buy in a turn in order to save up cash to get copters for a couple turns to try and keep in it that way. You still end up lower in vehicles because you do have to cut a vehicle to do that. But you can, in that way, you can try and keep up copter-wise, if that's what you mean. So there's a super strict cutoff. I mean, obviously, 18,000 is like the dream number because that's exactly enough to go tank, infantry, copter. But even at 16,000, you can keep up copter-wise. You'll just fall behind tank-wise because you have to cut tanks in order to float money. To then build later tank copter turns. Okay. So Olaf is going to get a city here. See how brutal the snow is. These infantry, well, this one could have reached it with attack from here, but yeah, they can't make it to this tile. Olaf is almost out of foot soldiers. This is pretty much the last wave of attack. I agree, penguins should be immune to snow. I think that's a fair and balanced thing to do for the game. And I'm glad that you agree. Okay. Anti-air goes down. New tank doing its thing. Got knocked down to 2, so it does save the city one way or another. Gets taken out completely. We'll see how long Olaf is able to hold the city in the corner. Sometimes you like run in, you capture the city, but then the opponent just walks up, takes out all of your troops, and then takes the city from you immediately, and it becomes very much no longer cost effective to have gone for it. Now it looks like to be what we're about to see. And it will become very difficult for Olaf to stay in this game if all of the foot soldiers get taken out. Because then there's like no hope of ever coming back in an economic sense. Interesting. So CatWithYarn is going to try and dive in to the bottom. That's a little bit risky because it can result in a pretty nasty overextension rather than just kind of front shifting over here and going for the guaranteed value. But we'll see how it goes. Overextensions can be nasty, especially with these nice artilleries in the woods and all that. Although Olaf is, in response, somewhat doing an overextension as well. Ooh, this recon actually sees that this is a clear shot to interrupt this city. Wow, triple base skip bomber. That is quite the buy. Oh, it can hit this tank. If it hits that tank, it's revealed to all the tanks. Now, fortunately for Olaf, CatWithYarn does not have a single anti-air. Yeah. I still don't agree with this. That's okay. Also, why didn't this recon interrupt the city? What happened to it? Got trapped here, huh? It wanted to go into the forest. I would definitely interrupt the city because there's so many backup vehicles on the way. That's okay. Olaf got another city back, now only down 2k. It's a pretty good comeback so far. We're also going to potentially see some snow, which will make some Neo-tanks very sad as they won't be able to run away from bombers and the like. Although it's down to 1 health and dies anyway. Okay. CatWithYarn backing up. The tempo loss is feeling very painful, but we do go straight for the fighter thanks to saving up some funds. Could definitely be good. A little aggressive on Olaf's part here to send this tank in. A very good attack by Olaf. There's only 1 infantry though. I guess 2. Ooh, a max blast. It does get the fighter a little bit closer, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, it does cover that Neo tank, which is nice, and the anti-air did get taken out. I don't know why CatWithYarn went for this artillery. I think this might have been a misclick because it's, to me, hitting the copter is the only reasonable choice there for the copter to do, so it doesn't get first struck. So I think that might have been a misclick. Just like the mouse slipped up 1 tile. Okay, so we do have some infantry moving back up into this corner to get these properties back, and Olaf is in no situation to really defend it. So it seems like a pretty easy get. Bomber does get hit the Neo tank. Neo tank is taken out. Rest in peace, Neo tank. We knew you well. Copter gets taken out, which is tragic. The recon lives at 1, which is always really nice to see when it's your recon, not so much when it's the opponent's. Okay, fighter comes in, bops the bomber, runaway recon, kill off that tank, start taking the city. It's looking very good for CatWithYarn in this top right here. Although Olaf is getting close to another super, and the supers for Olaf can often be way more impactful than what Max gets done. could almost be worth it for Olaf to just surround this fighter in here and build an anti-air and bring it on down. It almost happens. The fighter can escape. And indeed it does. Zoom. It looks like this city is going to get taken back by CatWithYarn. This is definitely the place to be attacking for CatWithYarn. And having some reinforcements over here is not bad at all. Ooh, okay, that's very nice for Olaf. Makes it so none of the infantry are currently in range to interrupt these properties, which would make a vehicle the only way to do it. But the vehicles have way better targets, as in the other vehicles. It's pretty decent. See how CatWithYarn goes about this. It can oftentimes be worth it in this kind of situation to just ignore the cities being captured and kill off all the vehicles with the idea of I kill off all of your units and then I can just take the cities later. Cities like pay off in the long term. I'm not quite sure why CatWithYarn is running. Okay, CatWithYarn's backing up. I guess it's just the fear over the Olaf super. That's fair. It does do nasty things. This is turning out to be a pretty decent trade for Olaf, trading these corners. Because CatWithYarn completely owned this corner, and Olaf only owned like half of this one. So now they're actually equal in income for the first time in a long time. Some decent strikes over here. The fighter kind of covers this, the tanks cover it, so it's, I think will still work out very nicely for CatWithYarn. But yeah, the bottom left, Olaf has managed to make a lot of progress. Let's keep diving in here. I think this is going to get punished. See? Smackety, smackety. That goes down. How easy can we reveal everything? We hit there. Oh, the fighter got trapped. So it was coming up to kill this copter, which is actually got saved because the anti-air was able to reach it. So it tried to go through the forest to hit the copter. But actually getting trapped let the fighter get away from the anti-air. So, you know, it ends up being a happy little accident, as Bob Ross would say. Okay, Olaf now has the income lead, which is very impressive. I feel like CatWithYarn does have enough of a standing army that it should be fairly easy to take the corners back. I guess the main problem is taking cities from Olaf is always really annoying due to the Winter Fury making sure you like never have full health infantry. So all captures take forever. Okay, they're back to being even in properties. There's only one infantry here, but it's capturing. It's doing its infantry job. Very nice. This fighter does survive. It probably shouldn't have flown like that because now it's at 2 fuel. It's just going to crash. CatWithYarn coming in, swooping in to get some of these nice cities. Still holding these ones for now. I do like the front shift on over. It's probably a little aggressive to send the anti-air in to hit the tank, but You can also respect that a little bit. Rickitinteam needs to be a little bit careful about just ant trailing units down here to a standing max army. As it just means every wave of reinforcements will just kind of get gobbled up for free. We have a T-copter for CatWithYarn now. The Olaf one's been doing a great job. In fact, there's another one. Here comes a Winter Fury. It's not going to do too much damage, like 20,000 or so, just because the unit counts and the unit value isn't ridiculous at this point. But it's still good. And helps secure a lot of these captures. Yeah, I don't know about diving in here quite so much, though. I think that it gives CatWithYarn quite the opportunity to have some nice cost-effective trades. Tank, copter. Really, these triple infantry turns are hurting a lot. Because, like, this front in particular really could have used some tanks coming in right about now, rather than a turn later. Okay, CatWithYarn is now back ahead in income for a single turn. Once the city flips, they'll be even again. Moving forward. It started to rain. So I assume there's some random weather here. This is the first time we've seen it at day 35. This is very unfortunate for Olaf. For those that don't know, Olaf is immune to the snow. But when it's raining, Olaf treats it as snow. Although, honestly, a lot of these attacks still just worked out perfectly fine for Olaf, so it could have been much worse. And then CatWithYarn resigns. Why? I mean, over here it does look a little rough, for sure. Probably want to save your super for a turn. But you're still in it. But yes, GG. Olaf made an amazing comeback in that game. It might have been just a little disheartening for CatWithYarn. That was a very amazing comeback. The only thing, I think CatWithYarn just got caught by overextension, and at the very start there was some bleeding of units, but that was kind of okay because of how many other properties that were able to be captured. Your 2 fog fix game automatically rains if Olaf is winning. That would be quite the fix. That would create so much rage. Okay, next we have Scamera versus Quickslow and a Drake Mirror on Great Ocean Road. This map must have had the most Drake Mirrors of any map ever. Okay. We'll see how this goes. There's quite a bit of timing that can come down to when you want to break this pipe seam to unleash this base. So it can like present vehicles on this front and all that fun stuff, as well as have easy capture routes to this fun quarter. In general, I wouldn't recommend going straight for the artillery as fast as possible. Kind of like what Quickslow's doing here. Quickslow's doing it really fast, even base skipping in order to get it. This base skip doesn't hurt too much though, of course, because the infantry are really slow to make it to these fronts. But the danger is if you go for a really fast artillery and your opponent's like, you know what, I'm going to build 1 or 2 recons first. You can get absolutely destroyed in the capture phase by how defenseless you are. Like, it's almost free for recons to attack up here. Ooh. Scamera going for a fast tank, so maybe scared of the recons. Then goes for the artillery. I do think the slower artillery tends to be safer. I'd be more willing to go for some fast recon into then artillery, kind of the reverse of what Quickslow's doing, so that if your opponent's going for recon too, you kind of do like equal damage to each other. Going tank into artillery might be the worst of both worlds. The tank can deal with the recon. Maybe it's not that bad, but it's just much slower. You can't watch with sound? I'm so sorry, Fluffy. I started an hour and 20 minutes ago. That's when I streamed. Or an hour and 17 minutes ago. 6 my time. I can't really stream much earlier than that because that's pretty much when I get home from work. Okay, artillery is in place. It's actually firing at the pipe seam. This would give Scamera or Scamera a good sense of what Quickslow's opening was. If Scamera wants to backtrack and see when on earth can an artillery even be firing on the pipe seam. Usually would have built a mech so they could fire here and the pipe seam would go down, but it doesn't super matter. It's fine. So you'll note this is definitely how you want to do it with the pipe seams. You have a tank built before the pipe seam's broken, because now you break the pipe seam on the following turn and the tank is already there to move out and help defend on the front. This is also a kind of trick you can do when the pipe seam is closer to the front and your opponent might have like units nearby. They can often overlook the fact that you could have a vehicle rush through the pipe seam and hit them, because if they like click on the vehicle, it doesn't show that it can reach, of course, because there's a pipe seam in the way. That just happens to disappear on the next turn when you kill it. So people can oftentimes give you free hits on accident. The pipe seam will vanish at the end of turn, just due to a little bit of replay bug. It's no worries. Whee! Now the tank's out there. Scamera's actually ahead by 3k. That's pretty impressive. Now these cities here are very contested, so it can often be worth it to try and rush them, kind of like both of them did, in order to snatch them up. And then just work on making sure to maintain that control. Ooh, Scamera's still up a bunch of income. I'm not sure where. Is it just the center? Yeah. Scamera was faster on this capture and has both of these central captures. It has quite a very, very imposing force moving in here towards Quick Slow's HQ. We'll see what Scamera or Quickslow end up doing about it. It looks like Quickslow is just going to try and do an attack on the opposing side. This can be a little bit risky, just because you can get if you don't notice that your opponent's front switching in, you can kind of get sandwiched in between two armies, which isn't as devastating as it is in real life, but it's still pretty nasty. Okay, that front switch is probably pretty detectable for Quick Slow, so we won't see some overextension that gets trapped or caught out. If I was Scamera, I probably would have used the infantry to interrupt this capture because there's so many units coming in to follow up the fight. Okay, we're going for a bunch of first strikes by Quick Slow. Very nice that this tank doesn't reach for Quick Slow. It works out nicely. There's still 4 tanks that can go for this attack or this fight. The first strikes are nice. And the front shift definitely got sniffed out. Okay, moving in, try and get the city. You have the nice artillery in the woods, which will be a pain. Recon survives at 1. You'd love to see it. It has a Neo-Tank friend and another Recon over here to give more vision, which is also good. This tank decides to go for the hit on the 3 health. It's kind of debatable whether or not that's worth it, just because now it's on a bridge and it's like somewhat behind enemy lines, so it's probably gonna get picked off. We'll see. It's also outside of the Neo-Tank range. Okay. Scamera, out of all of that, though, did manage to take this city, one of these very contested ones, and Quickslow uses the normal power. Oof. You gotta get a lot out of the normal power to really want to do that. Or to overcharge your opponent like a ton. It did get some decent attacks, but now you get hit by the super in retaliation, which does twice the damage. Scamera should be able to get this artillery shot off. Oh no! I think it was pretty deducible that there was an artillery in the woods, and the infantry could step here, and the artillery would build a fire on it very successfully, but that's okay. Quickslow is up a bunch of units here, which is nice, but it's a tiny bit behind in income. And army value. But being up 10 units, even at the end of your turn, that's pretty nice. A lot of them are very injured, so we'll see how well they are able to actually be utilized. But even just as blockers and or units to give you vision for your other units to fight, it can be a pretty big deal. You also have the copters on the way here for Quickslow. With oh no, there is one anti-air down here. The Drake copters, well, it's a Drake mirror, so they don't really have opposing copters that they're getting outclassed by. But even at minus 20% firepower, a copter is still pretty good. Especially if it gets used while a power is active. So it's fighting injured units and it gets the plus 10% attack and defense. And suddenly it becomes just like a regular copter. Got a medium tank. We got 2 neo tanks. For Scamera, definitely going with more of a tech up strategy in comparison to quick slow. It looks like it's going to work pretty decently down here. If you're up against neo tanks, there's 3 main strategies. Well, I guess 4. There's 4 strategies for dealing with the neo tanks. First is artillery. Second is air. Third is to match them in tech. And fourth is to just kill all of the supporting units. So the neo tank is trying to rely on one tile of vision and just gets trapped on everything and isn't really a threat anymore. It looks like Quickslow is going to try and go the air route, because we don't really have that many artillery. We don't have tech ups on the way currently. We do have a bunch of copters. Usually you might want to go straight into bombers. Hey, Fluffy. I included bombers as a combination of air and tech up. Okay. Medium tank. The artillery. Did it shoot? This is in a very precarious spot. Let's shoot the tank. This could be something that can go wrong with artillery, is that they can take shots to kill a unit and then they just get wiped out and overrun. Ooh. Looks like Scamera is entertaining the idea of trying to go for a kill on this black boat. Neo tanks and megas hit black boats decently well. Artillery hit them very well. I mean, megas hit them very well too. So sometimes you don't need to rely on having indirect units to break a black boat, but a combination of them can definitely do it. Hello, says the medium tank. Ooh, it's kind of entering into a base trade scenario. I'm surprised the copters didn't end up just going up here to try and save the HQ. Okay. Well, Quixo's HQ still stands. We are going to have a super go off. Like so. Pop, 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 pop. Black goes down to 9 fuel. Ooh, a really nice strike. Killing off the anti-air, blocking off any access through this choke point. Black boat's knocked down to 1. I think this is a little bit overkill on attacking the black boat. I think I would prefer if the infantry's got taken out. Just take out all these units in general. It looks like Quickslow is going to be winning this HQ rush. But Scamera should use the super before going for these attacks. For one, it gives you plus 10 stats, but you also do 2 damage to the black boat, which means it gets less defense stars from the HQ. Let's get taken out or start capturing with an 8 health infantry. HQ race is nigh. Yeah, that's a pretty good repair with the 1 health black boat there. We go straight for the rocket. Okay, we also have the 8 health infantry capture here. So currently, Scamera is winning the race. His base is looking very sad right now. Anti-air just waits in the woods, biding its time. We have double Neotank available here. 3 health artillery is available. Okay. So at this point, there's like no way that Scamera can delay this capture. So it's just all in on winning this down here. That's a really nice recon move there. Go for the join cap. Some strikes here. Copter hits the Neotank. Another copter comes in. The Neotank. Now the problem is, of course, this does introduce a lot of charge for quick slow. Ooh. I think quick slow can save this. Because you can always have it probably doesn't even take it, but you can go like sacrifice, strike, hit with the infantry, hit with the anti-air onto the HQ in combination with the normal power. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah, this base is totally toasted. Okay. I don't like that. I don't. Oh, never mind. The Neotank can strike. Strike it down to 3, and that's just enough. Ooh. I think you can. I think it's probably safer to just hit the 2 Neotanks against a 7 health. I think they kill. No, maybe not. Take it back. But anyway, that's just enough. Calculated. Not close at all. And Scamera resigns. GG came down to the HQ rush and trade. Or HQ race. See if we can get one more in here. Headpats from Senpai. Eagle versus Testu Olaf. Your game can wait for next stream? Okay. In that case, we'll do Thavidu. Versus normalpoe. And we'll do headpats from Senpai on Monday. Okay. Good old Thavidu. Yeah, you guys, this is away we go. We've got the black boats. Looks like we're gonna do a double load here. Thavidu's Hawke against normalpoe Sasha. We've seen Hawke versus Sasha quite a bit. And a lot of it comes down to how well does the Sasha control the charge of the game, the charge for both players, which admittedly is a lot harder to do in standard or in fog than it is in standard, because you have imperfect information about the unit, what units are on the field and where they can strike each other, so you don't necessarily know exactly how much of a threat the opponent has to get their power, which can make it so that Hawke has an easier time sneaking one out and making Sasha very sad. We do have a nice transport copter opener here for the Sasha player. But I would say a much nicer black boat opener that Thavidu's gone for here. If we're just looking at this front in comparison to this front, Thavidu already has these two cities equivalently, is capturing this one and is en route to capture this one and this one. With the downside of being slightly further behind on this front, but this is kind of fine to be behind on. You're less pressured. Oh no, he better. So great harassment by Thavidu here. Should result in an economic lead, although currently Sasha's doing just fine. It does have this property from the back, and it looks like Thavidu has skipped quite a few properties in order to get these more contested ones. So it'll be a while before we start seeing any really big economic impacts. Thavidu has to capture all of the safer properties before there's any lead, and that does also require that Thavidu maintain control over the contested ones, which might not be so easy, as we do already see a strike force coming out for this city. There's still 2 infantry over here, but Thavidu's holding it down pretty decently. Probably not worth it to send an infantry forward to interrupt this comm tower, but we'll see if that's something that Thavidu is able to hold on to or prevent long term. It's not looking super promising, but who knows? There are 2 tanks here. Wow, okay. Normalpoe rushes in, gets a first strike. That does pretty much guarantee that the comm tower will get captured. But I think that was pretty much guaranteed in the first place, and it does kind of give Thavidu an overall positive tank exchange here. And wow, okay, this city is not actually interruptible for normalpoe, so this just gets stolen by Thavidu. They're currently even in property count. Sasha 1-6 16. You can, if they add together, they'll make the middle number. It doesn't matter. Anyway, they both have 16 properties. In just a little bit, though, we'll see Thavidu get a very nice economic edge once we're flipping this city and capturing more and more of these uncaptured backward cities. I'm not quite sure why the infantry got brought back. Usually you want to keep them on the front lines, and you want to repair them on the front lines if you're going to repair them, so that they can suck up shots from full health units and or vehicles that overall would not like to be attacking very injured units. Very injured infantry. They'd rather go for more valuable strikes. So you can be blockers, you can of course get vision, all that kind of thing. Here we go. Now we can see Thavidu ending 19 properties versus 16. pretty good, and no properties are being captured currently for normalpoe. Look, there's quite the strike force to take these ones back. And it's probably going to happen. Ooh, nothing was sent forward to interrupt this property. So Thavidu just gets that. Does start sending some units down here to hold on to these properties. You do have to be a little bit careful. You don't want to make it into a poison property where you just invest too many units and let too many like first strikes happen on you in order to save it. But if Thavidu just sends the whole vehicle army down here, then it's pretty hard to lose that fight. Figuring out. It doesn't get difficult at 20k. There's going to be some times that you have to carry a number. Okay. You have an anti-air here. But this looks like normalpoe has managed to save this property unless Thavidu is able to get a normal power this turn, in which case normalpoe will have kind of missed the opportunity to control the charge of the game. He will become a very sad Sasha player very quickly. I'm not sure how easy it is for Thavidu to get the normal power though. I don't see very good... If the vehicles could find good attacks, like if this tank can find this attack on this tank and stuff like that. But I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe? Yeah, that's not quite enough. So normalpoe is going to get this city back and is going to be able to do a market crash, even saved up the money, which is something that you can do as Sasha. You save up the money to completely wipe the bar. Definitely was a little bit risky, but it ended up working out. There goes the whole bar. Probably should have gone for more attacks before going for the normal power. Because if you save up that much money, you can probably drain more than was done there. And as you can see, all of these attacks are giving Thavidu some more charge. And you'd prefer, yeah, because now Thavidu is still left with 2 bar. Down goes that poor recon. It's a little bit aggressive of this anti-air. I'd like another anti-air on the way. Anytime you put an anti-air into an aggressive spot. That means it's easier to pick off. We do have another market crash. As Thavidu was getting close to a power. Down goes the anti-air. Now the copter's going to be fairly safe. It's actually in range of this other copter. Normalpoe should be aware of this though, so we'll probably move an infantry right here and just stand there, yeah. Make life a little bit difficult to clear it out of the way. We do have a property being captured up there, which would help get normalpoe. I caught back up a little bit in income here. You don't really want to be behind in income as a Sasha player. Okay, looks like the copter is not going to do it. We're just going to chill. Ooh, Thavidu's going for a super chill turn. Back off over here and put nothing forward to try and save this city. I guess it wasn't even savable. I didn't realize it was a good capture. I thought it was going to capture next turn. That makes more sense. Just let the city go. Now Thavidu's only up by 2 properties. If this one gets taken, they will be even in properties. And Thavidu's income lead will be gone. We chillin'. We chillin' for Thavidu. Normalpoe is up by a bunch of units. He is going for this city. Looks like he's gonna get it. And be a happy camper. Thavidu actually moves the black boat off of the HQ. Which usually means we're gonna be just all in at the top here, but there's still so many units just kind of standing around down here. We'll see if normalpoe blunders into them. I think that's what Thavidu's hoping. Go for another capture. This would give normalpoe economic edge. Let's have a bit of a wall going here. There's actually nothing in this forest, but I don't think Thavidu has any way of going into that forest, so that's totally fine. Okay, you break through here. The anti-air does reach the copter. It's a nice get. Thavidu's probably going to find the normal power here. Maybe not because we stopped attacking. And there's still some vehicle strikes over here. If I'm Thavidu, I'd be very hungry to get normal power, but I guess Thavidu is just way more patient than I am. It's like, whatever, you'll just market crash me again. Eventually I'll get my power. Okay. Wow, normalpoe, complete retreat. Not a single strike thrown at the bottom in a market crash. The problem about this retreat is it's not actually retreating that much closer to the reinforcements. It's kind of like almost laterally retreating, which means Thavidu could probably pursue and be fine. But Thavidu's like, nah. Let's just chill. And I'll go for the top capture. We have a medium tank APC. Okay. Some really nice placements of these recons for normalpoe. This lets normalpoe know that Thavidu is not doing any front shifting. And it also means that normalpoe knows that if they front shift, Thavidu will not be aware of it. At least not through any central vision. Sasha is almost at the unit cap. But what that does mean is Sasha should probably front shift and just crush one of these sides with overwhelming numbers. Because Thavidu will be forced to have more balanced fronts due to having no front shifting avenues. That doesn't seem to be the route that normalpoe wants to go down. Instead, just kind of striking back on both sides. That's kind of Thavidu's dream. Because then all of Thavidu's units still get to fight, rather than only half of them getting to fight. Okay. normalpoe insisting on getting this capture with a join cap. Does send in some copters. There's no anti-air over here, but Thavidu has several copters of his own. And we're going to have a market crash again. It's going to make Thavidu very sad. Rope. There goes the recon. Medium tank's going to have to do a lot to help out this front. Looks like normalpoe is going to... Actually, I guess capturing this actually equalizes the properties. For some reason, I thought it would have an economic advantage. Okay, now Thavidu's marching on in here. Okay. They're back to being equal. They both have 19. Okay. Ooh, this is a little bit scary for normal Poe. Currently just barely missing the normal power, but there's always a strike over here to attack the mech and stuff. You can attack the black boat with tanks too. Currently down by 800. Which is definitely attack the black boat. Levels up. Down by 50. I'm going to attack the infantry. Market crash. Ooh, it doesn't do everything though. It is a little painful to have to go for these attacks. Overextensions are not what normal Poe would like to do, and we'll see if Thavidu is able to get a normal power off of this. Regardless, down goes the anti-air, down goes the tank. Normal power would be nice, it would interrupt that capture as well. Probably happening. I can see a bar and a half happening down here. There's a lot of vehicle fighting. Maybe not. You can just sacrifice the 4 health tank, maybe. Okay, there we go. Recon hits mech. We get the black wave. It does a fair bit. It does like 20,000 in damage. Heals like 6,000. So that's pretty good. Also interrupts the capture. Now Sasha tends to get really sad after the first Hawke power. Down goes the mech. Down goes the anti-air. The city is going to fall to Sasha. I don't see any way for Thavidu to save it. Be a little bit dangerous for Sasha to stick around here. I think Thavidu can do some serious cleanup. The medium tank though is going to be kind of tough to deal with. Ooh, it just stood in the woods that whole turn. Okay, finish off the tank. Keep dropping off these mechs. It's very nice. You think it's another kill. Okay, it looks pretty reasonable for Thavidu to win this fight and maybe just take the city back. Okay. Doing the classic maneuver, which is to attack all of the units that are furthest away from your opponent's reinforcement line so that you start backing off towards your own. And if your opponent tries to chase you, then they start to overextend. And at this point, normal Poe's kind of lost that huge unit count lead that they had. Starting to overextend, but there isn't really that great of an answer right now for Thavidu to kill this medium tank. So it's not so bad. We do have another market crash. Don't want to let Thavidu get another normal power off. That would be pretty nasty. We're at 20 versus 18. Up properties. So normal Poe is up by a single property currently. Okay. Looks like we're just going to try and rely on copters to kill the medium tank off, or maybe Thavidu's plan's just like, I'm going to ignore it and hopefully not get absolutely destroyed by it. Okay, we have an artillery on the way. That's pretty good. A little bold of the medium tank, but it's working out. Okay, this guy actually managed to get this city. We'll see how long that was able to hold it. This medium tank on this front doing work. This one doing work. Making them look like they're really good units. You say the copters are great answers? They can be, as long as they don't have opposing anti-airs and copters that can hit them. Okay, it does get trapped in here, which is nice. For the Thavidu, we'll see what the medium tank does. It really wants to not be here. It agrees and retreats back. And normalpoe resigns. Wow. I'm surprised normalpoe resigned there. I mean, this medium tank is super sad. But I feel like this is kind of a fine spot to be in comparison to when they were down by like 4 properties. But GG. Well played. Thavidu with the patience. It paid off. That's going to be the end of our stream. I hope everyone enjoyed. I leave you with an apple. I know a lot of resigns this stream. GG. Thanks for watching, everybody.
It's Go7, king of the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins, that's his